In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to crop and resize images in Photoshop, which you'll definitely want to do before you upload them to any web pages or to your blog. So first of all, go ahead and open Adobe Photoshop. You'll notice here that I have a gray background, which is what I prefer to work in. So to get this gray background, go to Window and select Application Frame. If this is the first time that you're starting up Photoshop, you'll probably see it like this, where you can see what's behind it. Whereas I prefer to go to Window, select Application Frame, and then it kind of sets it for me. So let's find a photo that you want to resize. I have one here on my desktop. You'll see it here at the top. The size of it is currently 4.5 megabytes. This came directly off my camera. So if you pull photos from your camera, they'll probably be very, very large like this. So 4.5 megabytes is much too large to put on a web page or on a blog post. You're going to want to try to get it under 100 kilobytes, which is a dramatic difference. So let's go ahead and bring this into Photoshop. So I can just drag it right into my Photoshop icon. So you'll see here's my photo. If you look down on the lower left hand side, you'll see it says 16.67%. So it's not even showing me 100% of the image. If I change this to 100%, just type in the 100 and hit enter, you'll see it gets much, much bigger. That's how large this picture is right off the camera. Again, much too big for a web page. So we'll put it back to 16%. And say I want to crop it. I want to kind of zoom in more on the center of the picture. So over along the left hand side, you have different tools that you can use. So the one here is about the fourth one down from the top. If you hover over it with your mouse, you'll see it says crop tool. So I'm going to just click on that to select it. And then you'll see I get that as my mouse pointer. So I can go ahead and just start where I want to crop it. Kind of just drag around. So say I'm going to just kind of go around here. I can let go of my mouse, and then maybe I want to bring it in just a little bit, bring it down just a little bit. Okay, looks good. So now I can go ahead and I can click the check mark, or I can hit the enter key on my keyboard. So now it's been cropped. Okay, it looks a little better. So now before I actually save it, I need to resize it and make it smaller. Remember, this is still only 16% that we're seeing here. So go up to Image and choose Image Size. So you'll see the width currently is over 3,300 pixels and the height is over 2,400 pixels. Again, that's very large. For an image on a web page where you want it to be a prominent image, maybe make the width between 400 and 500 pixels. Again, you'll want to play around with it depending on where exactly it is on your page. In this case, let's go ahead and make it 500 pixels. And you'll see as I did that, it automatically changed the height for me. That's because I have constrained proportions selected. So you want to do that so that way the width and the height stay proportional to each other. And then here in the selection box, I'm going to choose bicubic sharper. So this is a Photoshop technique to actually help it when it compresses it to make it smaller. It actually keeps it so that it compresses better. So I'm going to select that, and now I'm just going to click OK. So now you see the picture gets much smaller, but again I'm at 16%. So let's go ahead and change this to 100. And you'll see now this is the actual size of the photo, 500 pixels wide. So now I want to go ahead and save my photo. So I'm going to go up to File, select Save for Web and Devices. You'll see up here in the upper right hand side I have different image formats that I can select from, and if you've watched the lynda.com tutorials, you've learned about why they're different image formats and what they're used for. In this case, because this is a photograph, I'm going to select JPEG because it has millions of colors, so it renders photographs the best. Then you'll see underneath that I have different options as far as compression. So if I choose low, you'll see I get a very small file size, 12K, but it's very pixelated. So this is not a good option. I'm going to go ahead and select high. So you'll see it comes out much nicer, about 42K. I'm going to choose very high. It's a little bit sharper, and I'm still under 100K, which is the goal that you want to try to get. So it's at 72K. So I'm happy with this. Going to select Save, and then I'm just going to save this to my desktop, add Resize to it so I know that this one is the resized one. Click Save, and that's how you crop and resize photos in Photoshop.